Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Broncos franchise. And today we head to the offseason, man. Our season ended just a little bit early. We lost in the wild card round to those New York Jets, man. Stopping the run has been difficult for us. They got Jamal Charles on the squad, and he was able to put up over 200 yards and a bunch of touchdowns on us, and we take the L in that game. The 49ers would beat the Falcons at home. The Ravens would beat the Colts at home. Then you got the Dolphins in divisional rounds. They would beat the Ravens. The Eagles, they will fall to the Saints. The Jets would fall to the Titans, and then those 49ers would fall to the Minnesota Vikings. So, Manning, Brady, number 2, and this time Manning is going to win in the conference championship game with the Dolphins, beating Tom Brady and those Titans 38-13, and then the Vikings, they would handle the Saints on the road 29-14. So we're going to get a Rodgers-Manning Super Bowl, Vikings versus the Dolphins, and it's going to be those Minnesota Vikings with the win. Aaron Rodgers, 22 of 44 passes, 311 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pat White saw some action. Peyton Manning did not last the whole game. That sucks because this is his last NFL contest. Adrian Peterson, 27 carries, got over 100 yards. He was a man amongst boys. They couldn't really stop him, to say the least. And the Minnesota Vikings, y'all got yourselves a Super Bowl. We made a grand total of $31 million in net income. That's like after all of our expenses and taxes and all of that. Remember to pay your taxes now. And you got to make sure that you pocket the rest. You never know. Always a rainy day. You never know. Just save a little bit here and there. You'll be all right. So we're going to sign Knightley, one of the more expensive offensive coordinators out there. We're going to bring him in. And then we're going to go out and get Torrey Holt to be our special teams coach. Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, Randy Moss, they came into the league at the same time. They went to the Heisman ceremony for the same year, and they're all going to retire in this universe altogether. Donovan McNabb is a Super Bowl champion, backing up Aaron Rodgers, one of the highest overall backups in the game. And in case Aaron Rodgers went down, he was ready to step in, but no need for that. And the Vikings won the Super Bowl. TJ Houshmandzadeh retires as a Steeler. Yeah, crazy things have happened. Chris Chambers will also retire as a Steeler. So I think the Steelers, they're looking to possibly rebuild that passing attack because they lost 2 of their best receivers. Goodman, he's retiring. Jamal Williams, he's retiring. So we're going to have to revamp our defense just a little bit, or maybe a lot, depending on how free agency goes. Randy McMichael, he is retiring. Orlando Pace, he is going to retire as well, man. I want to see an O-lineman win the Heisman. He might have been the best chance, but he was going up against his own teammate in Eddie George. Anyways, Williams, Goodman, and Hill all retire from the squad. They're all decent overalls. If you're around 80, that's really good. You're low 70, that's really bad. Most Maddens are not like that, but in this one it is. So we're only going to re-sign a maximum of 5 free agents during this period of time. Once free agency starts and we go up against other teams in free agency, we can sign whoever we want, can sign as many players as we can afford. But for this moment in time, because you're guaranteed to have these guys re-sign, at least that's my experience, I don't want to just do that anymore. Anyways, Parrish Cox, we're going to re-sign him. He was a restricted free agent. We're going to sign him. Nobody matches the deal, so he's staying in town. Ronnie Brown, he's close to like the end of his career, but he's still a good running back, so I'm going to give him a 2-year deal. Alfonso Smith, I'm going to give him a 2-year deal, and Tony Scheffler will also get a 2-year deal. Everybody else is going to walk, including Jabbar Gaffney and including Roy Williams. He's 83 overall, probably the highest overall guy that we are letting go. Hutchinson is a Colt. Then you got a bunch of punters and kickers going to the Falcons. And hey, it is what it is. Gakowski, he is going to those Miami Dolphins. Maurice Jones-Drew going to Steelerville. Yes, he's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's wearing 32, and I'm not going to change it. He will wear Franco Harris's 32. I mean, I could, but it's just like Madden didn't set that up, and there's no just have retired numbers not worn selection, so I'm not going to go through it and do all that. Jason Witten is a New York Jet. Dwight Freeney is a Cardinal, and then you got a bunch of more kickers and stuff like that. Julius Peppers is a Dallas Cowboy. That would have been great to see. Him on one side, Ware on another side. That would have been crazy. Fanigan, he is going to play for the Houston Texans. What is happening? This universe is crazy. Joe Flacco is going to be a Jet. He was the highest overall quarterback who's a free agent. Greg Jennings was the highest receiver, technically, but then we get Megatron. That's right. Calvin Johnson is a Denver Bronco. Technically, Jennings was higher than him, but they were both 97 overall, and I'm happy to have Megatron back in the franchise. You feel me? But Joe Flacco, he was the highest overall quarterback. Miami was looking to get him because Peyton just retired. So will they get another quarterback maybe via the draft? We are going to find out. Speaking of the draft, our first pick is a D tackle out of Iowa, Curtis Hilliard. And yeah, he's looking good. Or Hilliard. Did I add a Hilly? Yeah, Hilliard. I think it's Hilliard. I don't know. 81 overall. He should be an absolute beast. Then Deuce Harrison. Yes, we get Antonio Gates. He's 33 years of age, so who knows how much longer he's going to play. Then we got Scheffler, who's in his 30s on a 2-year deal. So why not have somebody waiting in the win? And I'm human. I get caught up in the one and dones and people coming in and being ready to be a superstar, ready to be a Hall of Famer. But let's get back to maybe developing talent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take a page out of that book and try to develop guys before they are needed to step in and play. So he will be a tight end for the future to look at. His speed was pretty good. Kramer, they said that he ran a 4.2. 88 is no 4.2 speed, but he has good size, 6'3", 224-pound safety out of Louisiana Lafayette. Then we got this running back who also, they said ran a 4.2. I'm like, I'm going to go get him. He was projected going like the 6th round, so it was a reach. 73 overall, 87 overall speed. I was hoping that he would be the speed guy, maybe, but it's still going to be Lincoln. So I'll probably show him with like a power guy to maybe replace the power that we get from Ronnie Brown. That's not going to happen. Lamar Drake, maybe he could be that guy. He's a fullback, 88 overall speed for him, 71 overall out of Jackson State, prime time. And then Ty Olson, he's a receiver out of Florida State. We pick him up in the 6th round, 71 overall, 62 catching, 86 acceleration, 93 overall speed. So not bad at all, definitely not complaining. And then Chris McAllister, cornerback out of Northern Iowa. He is our Mr. Irrelevant, 69 overalls. 88 overall speed, 86 acceleration. The top pick in the draft is a quarterback from North Carolina, and Jared Clement, 86 overall, 95 throw power, 90 throw accuracy. Chicago, you have a quarterback. Somehow, don't mess it up. I don't know how, but just don't mess it up. All right, the third pick is a left tackle from Hampton. Yeah, and hey, left tackle from Hampton going number 3. Left tackle from NC Central. Going to the Buffalo Bills, so they, value those guys, and that's great. Jimmy Mills out of La Tech, Louisiana Tech, going to the Miami Dolphins to be the heir to the throne, 83 overall. That's looking good for him. Derek McCaffrey, 83 overall, 88 overall speed, 88 agility, 93 right tackle out of Northwestern, and he's going to be playing for the San Diego Superchargers. Kurt Hunt, left tackle out of Florida. He's going to the Indianapolis Colts. Jake Payton out of Oregon State going to the Rams. Last time I drafted a running back from Oregon State, it turned out pretty good in Steven Jackson. This guy's not just as big, but pretty big at 6 foot, 234 pounds. McDonald out of Arizona State going to Cleveland to play tight end, 6'3", 258 pounds, 83 overall, 90 overall catching. That's good coming out of college. And then last pick of the top 10 is Quentin James. And now the rest of the Chargers draft looks like this in the 2nd round. That was their pick in the 3rd round. They go back to the board to go get another halfback, believe it or not. But hey, maybe they are, thin at halfback. Then they went and got a receiver, and Otis Shields out of South Carolina. He is 76. I believe he was 76 overall. Burns is also 76 overall. And then you got McDonald, left tackle, 74 overall. That's not a bad pick. In the 7th round, they will go get another O-lineman in the center. The Chiefs draft looks like this. Their first pick came in the 2nd round, pick number 4. They get Grandmont, 72 overall. Then they get a receiver in Lindsey, who was 80 overall already out of LSU. They know how to pick them boys out of LSU, don't they? Then Mark Joyner, kicker from Florida State in the 3rd round, pick number 4 of that round, 74 overall. That is a good look for the Chiefs. And then they got a left guard in the 3rd round as well, 79 overall. That is pretty good for a 3rd round pick. And then they go out and get a linebacker, Langford, from North Carolina as well, 77 overall. Cornerback Brian Morris out of Arkansas, 75 overall, 83 overall speed. Right guard Curtis Dexter in the 6th round out of Temple. And then 7th round, they get Ellis. He is a right guard out of Penn State. And then the Raiders. Their first pick was pick number 21. There were some trades going on because they had the 5th overall pick, but clearly that's not where they selected this guy at. And then they had another pick in the first round, pick number 31, to go to center and Hayes. He better be the next Jim Otto. And then left guard to go with Ford out of Virginia Tech, pick number 31 in the second round. Then third round to go with a quarterback, Lamont Woods, 5th overall pick in the third round. In the 5th round, they go with another another lineman, this time on the defense side of the ball, and Parker. They go with a tight end and John Ireland out of Washington State, 6th round, 5th pick. And then in the 7th round, they go with Donaldson out of Henderson State, 71 overall D tackle. All right, 2nd round of free agency, we're going to sign Pat White. He was in the Super Bowl. He got some playing time there. He's a left-handed quarterback. He's a scrambling quarterback. I'm thinking, why not? He is not going to be our backup. He is going to be our 3rd-string guy. And then Josh Johnson is with the Ravens. Somehow the universe just knows. I caught a touchdown pass from, believe it or not. It was 7-on-7, and didn't count. It was the last play of that session, and nobody cared, and I was left wide open. And I caught the ball with all chest. And I caught it, though. I hanged on, all right? That's probably why I didn't make it, because I couldn't catch my hands. I caught my chest, almost bounced off my body. But, hey, it is what it is. A touchdown's a touchdown in my book. Anyways, Kevin Walter, he is going to play for the Texans. Randall, he's going to play for those Saints, and Jones going to play for the Packers. And then you got the tight end class. Cook, he's going to try to replace, I guess, Jason Witten in Dallasville. We're going to see if that can happen. The big fellas, here are the top guys in the 2nd round of free agency. Winston's probably the best guy out there. And then you got Hopkins going to the Niners. Okoye, he's going to the Steelers. And then you got Gibson going to the Titans. You got Rocky McIntosh representing you going to New Orleans. Pace, he's going to the Arizona Cardinals. And then, that cornerback, I was thinking about signing him. He was 5'8", and I've gotten some crap in the past from y'all from going at the small corners. But he had tons of skill, but he was kind of short, and we really weren't in the market for a cornerback right there. Because, again, I'm thinking to the future when we got to give Tebow a fat contract. We're probably going to have to draft a running back at some point, and they typically go in the 1st round in this universe, and they usually get some big contracts as well. Clady, we're probably going to have to re-sign, 99 overall there. Our O-line is pretty good. I kind of want to keep it intact. There might be some movement along the way, but for the most part, we're going to keep these guys intact. We have 2 right guards, and one of them plays left guard, obviously, but that's why that looks like that. Kendall Cates, he's still in there at the end, of course. So is Harris, and now Hilliard at the tackle spot, and then, of course, Calais Campbell on the other side. Outside linebackers, we got Blunt, we got Chandler. In the middle, we got DJ Williams. So I believe it's going to be in this last year of his contract. And most likely, I'm not going to re-sign DJ Williams. He does be laying the hits. Has nothing but tracks out there, all #1 records. But the DJ will have to exit stage left probably after this season. His overall is around the same as Blunt and as Chandler. And I'm like, if that's the case, I could probably draft somebody to fill that spot, and it probably won't cost as much as he will. So training camp now, Lincoln doing Lincoln type things. He's a speedster, not too much power, but he can break tackles like we saw in that first clip. And then again, his speed just takes over. This far back, the safety got to come up, try to make a play one-on-one. We can kind of just outrun him. Then we get a block right there, take it to the crib. Under 20 seconds ago, kind of the same deal. We got to the 2nd level, which is the safety in this drill, and we're able to run away from DJ right here. We just run away from everybody, and that's going to do it. We get gold. We're going to have 3 points at our disposal, and we're going to go all with agility. We could bump up carry, but I want him to get out of tackles a little bit more than he does. Brown to the outside and get chopped down by Chandler. Again, Chandler is a good linebacker. Blunt, coming in the training camp, was higher overall than him, and I do think that if we could draft somebody to go along with this linebacker core, it's going to be like old school football with like the Saints, the Dome Patrol, that group right there with Swelling and Johnson and what's his name? Oh my gosh, what is his name? He played for the Panthers as well. He was in the USFL. His name is Sam Mills. I got it. Thank you. I know somebody was saying it, but yeah, Sam Mills. That linebacker core. I watched old school Niner games, and the Saints was on there, and I was like, oh my gosh, he freaking turned Roger Craig down to the ground, like turned his face all the way upside down. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but he smacked him. And I was like, this linebacker core is crazy good. And yeah, they didn't win the game. The Niners did, because that was in our heyday. But yeah, Anyways, Craig Chandler, he's turning into one of the better cornerbacks. He's still 88 overall. He bumped up nothing but his hands because we want him to catch all those interceptions. Had 6 last year, hoping to redo that again, replicate that again. And then Kendall Cates, he gets gold, so we get 30 more points for him. And we're going to bump up his strength. Oh, no, 2 to acceleration, 1 to strength. And now we're looking at Demaryius Thomas. O.J. Mitchell was 81 overall. In this, Demaryius Thomas, 81 overall. So who's going to be that true number 2 to Megatron? Who's going to be that slot receiver? And it looks like it's going to be Calvin Johnson and his Georgia Tech brethren and Demaryius Thomas, both going to be on the outside, and OJ will still be in that slot. I will probably do a better job of moving these guys around to see what happens there, but as of right now, that's what it is. Demaryius Thomas got 3 points going all through his hands. That's why I did it, because I believe, from what I remember seeing, O.J. Mitchell's hands was 89 overall. So I'm like, I can't have a receiver that's going to be getting the ball a lot in the 79 when it comes to catching. That's not going to happen. Timothy Tebow getting sacked all over the place. I don't know what is wrong with me. Sometimes I'm very, very good in these drills. Sometimes I'm very, very bad. And when I was a kid growing up, this was the one drill that I hated doing. I don't know. I just didn't like it, but I'm also not good at it, and that probably goes hand in hand. We get 1 point, going to bump up his accuracy to 93. And then Pat White, it's your turn. I'm like, yo, he's good. Look at that first pass. And then look at that pass. Nowhere near that little circle. And then Thomas cuts in front of that little circle. I'm like, what's going on? Let's go to the other side. We can't find Megatron. Let's try that one again. Slide over. Can't find Megatron through that little bronze circle. We can go back to Demaryius Thomas. We have 1 completed pass out of 6 tries. Make that 7 tries. Make that 8 tries. Just 1. That pass nowhere near the bronze circle. Nowhere near the bronze circle again. White, come on. That one totally missed the gold circle. Can we try it again? No, it didn't even fall to my receiver's hands. That's going to be caught, but that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. That route right there, I always get. I always get that. Maybe sometimes I mess up on the first try, but by the second time, I get that. This time, it just didn't happen. Pat White, I am very scared if we go down 2 quarterbacks, because during the season, as we get to the schedule, we will be simulating some more games, all right? We're still going to be playing games. I'm thinking it could be around 10-6. We simulate 6 games, play 10 games, or closer to 8. It's going to be somewhere in that realm. The Colts will probably play. Skins will probably simulate. Eagles we might simulate, or we might play. One of those Raider games will play. The other one will probably simulate. Just to spice things up just a little bit. Really just due to injuries. There really aren't injuries, and I don't want to say, oh, I love injuries, but injuries are a part of the game, and you really don't have to manage that here. So just trying to throw in a new wrinkle, and we'll see how it plays out. And yeah, and maybe that will, change up the AFC West standings. Who knows? But that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do hope that the rest of the day is the best of your day. Peace, love. Hustles.